Well, I am Pleasant James. Many of you already know me or have heard of me. Rather, my reputation precedes me. But to give you a little better understanding, as far as qualifications go, I have over a decade of experience managing people and businesses, organizations. At the local college that I attended, I created a volleyball club, from scratch that was later adopted as an intercollegiate entity. I ran a tax office, so I'm very familiar with dealing with legal and governmental agencies. I've been to every alchemy except for the first one. I've also attended Euphoria. And mostly I'm running because I don't really want the authority and the power. But a good friend reminded me that actually makes me a good candidate because I wouldn't be prone to abuse or tolerate abuses of that power. So I threw my hat in the ring, and here I am running for your board to help try and make things awesome for you.
Thank you. Age?
Rich. I'm just going to get cozy with David here real quick. Don't mind that. Hey, I'm Age. I think probably everybody in the room except a few people I know pretty well. I've been on the board actually for the last 2 years, but my term is up, and so I'm running to get re-elected to the board. The main reason is because we started a whole lot of initiatives over the last year. We built a new model for event leading. We built a lot of new processes for standard operating procedures. We started to move towards a new organizational structure and whatnot, and I want to see it through to the end. The one thing I don't want us to do is lose momentum due to lack of consistency, so here I am. I'm going to keep mine short.
Thank you. Who's three?
There you go. Speaking of crouch.
Can you see me? I do.
Can you animate the display?
Yeah.
The display is actually off.
You don't know if you can see me. I don't care if I can be seen by myself, but if anybody else can see me, that's fine.
Can you just talk as loud as you can so the camera?
I can do that. All right. I'm David Stabler, known as Vivian or Mecca. I'm one of the chefs for Scheherazade. I have, most people know me this way, along the lens caps on. That's about the only way people recognize me is with the camera in front of my face. I do a lot of photography for Alchemy, for other events. I'm also one of the principal photographers for DragonCon, so I've done a lot of large events. I work with the guy behind the camera as one of their organizers. I have sat on several boards. I've sat with several committees. I'm a college professor. I am a manager with Hewlett-Packard. We're an international organization where I meet with people who don't speak the same language to start with, much less have same cultural references, and we try to get things done for a lot of big customers. And we somehow seem to succeed on a regular basis. I have some of the highest CSAT ratings in the company. So I have done a lot of the things that are necessary to be done on boards. I'm hoping that I can translate that to this board. I don't know if I'm the best candidate or not, but I figured I had skills and it'd be worth bringing the board to and see if y'all thought I was good at it. If you do, I'll be glad to give it my best shot, and if I'm not, feel free to get rid of it. I don't care. But I will do what I can for you for as long as I can.
Great. Who's next?
Excuse me, Donovan.
That's okay.
Right. My name is Dave Chilton, aka Tumbleweed. Some of you may recognize me or know me. I'm pretty new to the Georgia burner community. I moved down here from Maine in February. And in that short time, I've helped develop, a year ago, we were the ones with the big lighthouse on top of Silent Hill, from an idea to an actual camp with members and a group that participates in many different charity events on the organizational and fundraising level. That's why I'm here. Ever since 1995, I've always been involved in charities, nonprofits, groups that give back and enrich the community that we live in, and that's why I'm here, is basically, I want to participate in this community to the best of my ability and enrich our growth and, just see Alchemy and all of its events just be the best that they can possibly be.
Thank you. All right.
I'm going to stand so that I can actually see everybody in the room. Oh, I can see these things.
Off camera.
Camera.
All right. Well, I'll set up. Here we go. I can see everybody. All right. My name is Jacob Davis, and as you all know, obviously I'm running for the board here for Alchemy in 2012. I am a licensed practicing attorney in the state of Georgia. I practice in the area of nonprofit corporation law primarily. As a matter of fact, I have over 100 different various types of associations I represent. When I started practicing, I was also a transactional attorney for a various number of LLCs, from small to 7- and 8-figure groups. I've got a lot of experience, therefore, in working with various boards of directors through all sorts of issues similar to the ones that Alchemy is facing now, issues, sadly, of a far greater magnitude in some areas and others. This year, I was one of the co-leads for the placement team in 2012, and I think that went off pretty well. We had a great time doing it. I got to meet a lot of you folks. I've got to meet a lot of folks I haven't met before, and I've been in all the Alchemies except for one since 2007, the exception being 2009 with the birth of my child. One of the reasons I'm running for the board, aside from, you know, I think that this is a time when the board could probably use my experience, at least to be on the board, to give them the ability to have someone there with a legal background, is that I have 2 kids, and one of them, who's very young, was actually at Alchemy for the first time this year. She was 10 months old at the time. And, you know, you hear politicians say all the time, I'm doing this for my kids. The truth is, what I'm doing it for them is I want this group to be around when they're old enough to make a decision about whether they want to be involved and what they want to be involved with and what they want to do. And I think I owe it to them to do what I can to try to make sure this is around for them as an option with all the myriad things they're going to have as they grow up. And that's real important to me. So that's, I can't think of a better reason. You know, lawyers have fiduciary duties and all that stuff, but there's no better reason why I would try to do my best for all of you in this organization than the fact that I'm frankly doing it for my kids, and they're the #1 thing in my life.
Okay, who's next?
Hey, I'm Danielle Bovee, and I have been burning since about 2006. Since then, I have co-led theme camps, several different teams with Alchemy and Euphoria. Professionally, I work in the international shipping industry. I've been doing that for about 12 years. Mostly in operations, just recently started in sales, which has been a very interesting change. But the reason I'm running for the board is because I'm really fed up with those people. I don't want to be one of those people who sits back and criticizes and then does nothing about it. I feel like if I want to have an input, I should have an input, and I will continue to volunteer for Alchemy whether or not I'm elected to the board.
Thank you. Eric?
All right, I'm Eric. You guys mostly probably know me from the driver of Non-Bus, or I also created the Alchemy time lapse. I've been involved with Alchemy since the first event. It was actually my first burn. I fell in love with the 10 principles, everything about it. I have become massively involved as long as I can in anything I can in the event. And so the board is just kind of a next step for me that I want to give back as much as I keep taking from the event. And if you vote for me, hopefully I'll be able to actually live that. So,
Thank you, Eric.
I think it's good.
Scott.
My last one?
Yeah, you need one for me.
Hi, I'm Scott Sanders. I think I'm new to a lot of the people here at Alchemy. I didn't make it to the last burn. My background is that I was a Georgia Tech grad. A lot of this is on the internet if you want to research it. But I was a Georgia Tech grad, started out in banking, did a lot of stuff, had a 5-year and 10-year plan for my banking career. And after 4 years, I'd done my 10-year plan, I was doing senior vice president work. And I thought, you know, I want to go make some serious money, so I got into commercial real estate and did that for a while. Met my wife a few years ago and started working on her real estate team. And we've recently retired, so I have a lot of spare time. And I'm not necessarily looking to try to fill all of it. But what I've done in the last few years is I've gotten involved with things like the Sierra Club. I lead their outings program for the state of Georgia. If you want to go on a hike with Sierra Club, at the end of the day, that has to come through me to be approved. I do all the training of the leaders and things like that. I've been involved in just a lot of different volunteer organizations over the years. When the request for the board members came out, they said, you know, this is what you need to do to be on the board. I thought, okay, yeah, sure, I can do all those things. I've been on committees, I've had businesses, I've run businesses, I've managed stuff. It's like a big deal, so what? and I'm not trying to put anything down, it's just I thought, you know, I really want to give back to the community because I met a lot of nice people at the Alchemy Burn and I'm already looking forward to go back. And, you know, we kind of live like burners in our house, you know, every day, all the time anyway. So, you know, whether or not I'm on the board or not, you know, I'll be around doing something, you know, even if I'm just making a lot of loud music come out of my sound cap. My neighbors know all about me.
Okay, this microphone does not work in here. However, when you ask questions, the internet people are not going to be able to hear unless you talk into the microphone. So hopefully we can do it right up here because we have limited cord.
We can also answer the question.
Could you repeat the question?
I'm going to take off my hat and say whatever word or something.
And 2 is going to be official timekeeper. Keep us within line. I actually gave the first question to the nominees outside to think about because all I wanted was a 2-word and then a 3-sentence answer. I did not want a long answer because I wanted to see what they could come up with. So that was the fair way to do it. The question is, we all live by the 10 principles. We've heard a couple of people refer to the 10 principles. It's all part of our life. But what I would like to know, since this is really getting to know the candidates, which one of the 10 principles defines their #1 core within their soul? I would really like to know. I know you live them all, but what defines you if you could only have one? And with that, James was not here for that question, so what I'll do is come back to James last. And number 2?
I see how this is going.
That's the last question that was pre-given to them, but I wanted to give them time.
Sorry, dude. Just didn't want to be in scratch again.
Why not?
Well, he does have a kill tone.
Every day.
So, yeah, I thought about it. I couldn't decide, but I decided that I would go actually with radical self-reliance, which probably most of the people that know me well know that everything that I come across as a challenge, I try and figure out how to fix it myself, and see it through to the end. But communal effort was really a close second. Who was 3?
That's me still. Me and my crotch.
Thank
you.
There you go.
All right.
Speaking of the crotch.
I have lived a long time as a weirdo hippie freak from my early high school days forward, and I've done a lot of these things, but the most recent one that's gotten me is the fact that all the volunteerism that I've done, I keep forgetting to live in the moment, so I'm now in my immediacy phase, which is I need to stop and actually participate and live where I am and play where I am, and if that means putting the damn camera down and saying hi to people so you know what I look like, it might be a good idea. So that's what I'm going with for now.
Great.
I chose participation just because how we participate within our community, in our daily lives, and interact with each other is really how we can enrich and the computer's beeping and flashing and doing something. Anyway, participation. Oh, it's dying, I'll keep talking. Participation, just because through participation is how we can affect our community on the local level. Also, do greater things together, enriching, our communities, developing partnerships and networking with other groups, and really just making a change.
Great.
Did it just turn off?
Yeah, but we're still recording through a camera, so.
I'll go ahead then. Do we need to be talking to this microphone?
No.
Great. Goodbye. I think, like age, for slightly different reasons, it's got to be radical self-reliance. The reason being something that I've learned as an attorney is we're about helping other people. You really can't help anybody if you can't rely on yourself. And until you're able to rely on yourself and support yourself mentally, physically, and emotionally, you're not going to be able to successfully help other people in a meaningful way without taking too much from yourself over time.
Great.
Okay, so I'm talking into my microphone, it doesn't work.
Let's do it on camera.
But my principle would be participation, because I don't do things by half measures. I put my whole heart into it, or I don't do it at all. And that's what you'll get from me if I get elected to the board. That's what you'll get from me if I end up leading a team. That's what you'll get from me if I just end up doing a few volunteer shifts.
Eric?
The microphone.
See if it works.
No, I'll just leave it down there. I should have come back out. Honestly, I'll take the cheeky answer and say that honestly, I can't pick one. I mean, I could pick 3 or 4 right here and tell you that I hold them above maybe the other 6, but one specifically, participation, gifting, and self-reliance, all of those are really important to me. And if I find myself trying to pick one or the other, then maybe participation. But like I said, it's really hard for me because to me, you need all of them. You participate, but you're not being self-reliant, and you're not gifting, and you're not doing immediacy and any other of the principles. Then the first one really doesn't mean as much. So that's my easy answer.
For me, I'm an old Eagle Scout, and I think all 10 principles resonate with who I am as a person, who I've been for a long time. But with that said, I think what really came to home to me was we were out at Burning Man, and I'm starting to get checked up. We were playing Home really loud, and it was storming in the dusk, and the streets had shut down because there was probably 100 people dancing. And it was all about radical inclusion and community. Sorry.
Good.
Back to me now?
Back to you.
Okay, we're back up.
Hey, we're back up. So I'm guessing the microphone works now. I've always really. Hey,
Can you talk louder?
Talk louder? Sure. I've always disliked the question just because, like 2 of the others here mentioned, I fully recognize that all the principles tie into each other in a very close way. However, if I'm really forced to pick one, I have to say participation simply because nothing happens if you don't show up. If you're not there, if you're not involved, nothing happens.
Thank you. Interesting story, by the way. I didn't meet Scott till last week at the Burners Without Borders meeting, and he started telling me a story, and we camped 2 blocks from him. We went down and danced every afternoon in the friggin' street and didn't know it was Scott or anybody from Atlanta. We just said, who are these loonies who are dancing every night at 3 o'clock to home? 15 times it was played, but it was great.
We're at 6:30 and F. You'll hear us before
Okay.
6.
Yeah, it's kind of a weak mic.
Okay. Now, questions. Okay, we'll start over here.
Super John.
So I see,
can't see the
I
policies
guess we
again.
can.
Yeah, live.
8 highly qualified candidates up there, and thank you all for running. You all have unique skills that you bring to bear, and I think any one of you would serve the board well. So my question to you is, because there is only 3 positions, how will you, well, it's also a challenge of you to still use those skills to help through this period we're in, and how will you use those skills to still help the Alchemy organization through the period we're in if you weren't elected?
The question for the people on the internet is, there's only 3 spots and there's 8 candidates. For those who are not elected to the board, how will you continue to help and participate with Alchemy during this time of transition and growth?
He also wanted to know how they would use them on the board as well, correct?
No, I think they'll have plenty of time and they'll be telling
Okay, who would like to take that question first? Remember,
In the same order, or do you want to?
I think he's going to pick this. Are there any who do not want to answer the question?
He doesn't want to answer.
Please, I think it's an important question. Watch Chew though, because 1 minute we're gonna go. So anyway, James, we'll start with you.
Okay, so if I'm not on the board, the short and simple answer is that I'm going to continue what I've already started with Lamplighters. We have a lot of things in the works that are happening in the off season. If you're interested, absolutely please contact me. We've been working on some new equipment, better processes, so we can make the whole procession grander and much more smooth. I'll still be participating with Camp Scheherazade, making things awesome there as well. Hold a lot of fun there. And yeah, in general, it's hard to find me at a burn and not find me volunteering for somebody somewhere. So, well, that's what I'll be doing.
Great. Age?
Thanks.
So I've actually done a lot of different things at the Burns up to this point. I've built the effigies for both the Euphorias. I've run lamplighters actually before James took over. I've been volunteer for pretty much every team. And then last year I was actually one of the event leads for Alchemy for the 2012 event. So of all of those things, if I'm not on the board, I think I would probably look to event lead again. But if I wasn't chosen to event lead, then I'd probably submit an effigy design, which of course will have a bar.
Okay, down to me. The skills that I plan on bringing to the board are mostly strategic and managerial ideologies, and most of what you do when you're volunteering is a tactical role, so I'm not going to bring a whole lot of the same things. I look at them as completely separate functions. What I want to do on the board is help guide and develop and grow an organizational framework. If I'm not doing that on the board, I'll be doing the tactical role. I'll be cooking. I'll be taking pictures. I'll be wandering around and hoping that I'm enjoying and being immediately involved in whatever's going on around me. But I won't be using those same skills until the next year when I run for the board again. Provided people want me to do it time around, I'll keep trying. Until people drum it into my head, you don't want me on the board, I guess. But I'll keep trying. In the meantime, I'll keep cooking because that's what I do and that's what Scheherazade likes. So. And Dawn's shaking her head yes, so I guess I can get that done.
We're all shaking our heads.
Actually, you're not allowed to quit cooking when you get on the board.
Yes.
Just to clarify.
Oh.
If you get on the board, you don't get to quit.
Well, I was hoping I could at least outsource something.
No.
We expect Barry's Romanoff whether you're on the board or not.
Yes. My answer to the question is, what will I do if I'm not elected, is to continue to do everything that I did with Camp Virgo, the Aniswap Burners Without Borders, and SantaCon since I've been here, which is participate, take an idea, turn it into a material thing, and just keep volunteering at the Alchemy Art fundraiser, getting more art, encouraging people in the community to step up, take action, be a part of your burn. On the board, off the board, that's my goal, and just continue those things.
Thank you.
Limbo.
Okay.
Skip over you, Jake.
That's fine, that's fine so much.
If not elected, I continue to volunteer. I'll probably find a team to work with because I really enjoy leading teams. And I've actually got a couple of ideas up my sleeve that may or may not come out. We'll see. Plans that I've got that I'm dreaming about that I hope to make happen, but only with the community's help. So.
All right.
Keep it short.
Watch for Choose Hack. The second wave will go on to air.
So, I want to thank you for the question. One of the things I would do if not elected to the board with my specific professional skill set is really going to be up to the new board itself. If they want to contact me and have any questions for me they'd like to discuss, I'm happy to work with them and finding a framework to move forward on that and see what I can do to help them out. Beyond that, if the universe and my wife is willing to let me do it again, I was placement co-lead this year, and a lot of what I do with being a lawyer is a lot of what we had to do on placement, which is communication with folks and putting out fires and trying to make sure that everybody knows what's going on. And if I do that again, if my wife lets me without throwing me out in the doghouse, it took a lot of hours. That's probably what I would do again, would be use those skills to try to help out with placement. Keep working with Camp Spooky Forest, and I do a lot of the cooking in Spooky Forest too, not all of it. So maybe if we're not elected, we'll collaborate and we'll bribe everybody with food next year.
I like that.
Eric?
Well, honestly, if I'm elected to the board, I don't think it's really going to change what I still plan on doing in the future year. I've got several drawings for art project ideas, for a temple design, for another art card. I don't see, if I'm on the board, I don't see stopping those plans to still move forward, participate. The only difference will be is if I don't make the board, or even if I do eventually,